not feel like an intro, but this season 2 could have been done in one, but felt I needed to. The perfection of our conception projected through reflection that's connected is a blessing, and I needed to. Plus I need a few moments just to speak to you about these individuals whose mission to deceiving you, saying the achievable is just so unachievable, but that's only conceivable if you say and believe it's true. Protect the presence of essence with the aggression of a guard dog. Did you forget you was a god, y'all? Maybe you need someone believing you. Well, damn it, I believe in you. Not cause I'm expecting perception, I can see me in you. There's power in the questions and lessons is what I teach to you. Injecting my perspective suggested, no, I don't preach to you. Rejecting that you less than forever, know that you equal to. But this really for my people though, cause evil grows inside of the kind of minds that our ego drove. So engulfed inside of they ride, they cannot see the road. They criticize your drive, apply, they won't even go. Cause fear and faith is the only thing in comparison. One requires courage, the other desires evidence. How can what was ever determine what never been? Then again, the devil is ignorance mixed with arrogance. But we are the conscious collective. And CC, so I hope you get the message. But we are the conscious collective. Or CC, so I hope you get the message. Welcome.
Yeah, that feel good right there, but welcome. Thank you. You are too kind. You are what they call too kind. Welcome to the show, ladies and gentlemen. This is the show, the podcast that's power in the question. Information is information. I'm your host, Q. We here doing our thing in season 2. Because I do it for the kids. What's going on with y'all, man? I had a little epiphany, if you will, and I decided I was going to do an episode today. I was listening to the last episode, not last episode to y'all, but I go through, I write, and I thought today would be a good episode because last episode, I talked about some, and I told you guys when I wrap everything up, just like how I did in season 1, when I wrap everything up, every episode is there for a reason. I really took my time in trying to make sure I deliver this story the way I want to deliver this story. Just like in season 1 is knowledge itself. If you go through the show, I promise you'll see the journey I sent you through. Now, whether you like it or not, tell me. You can reach out to the show. What's my Instagram? TPQ_III. You can send me a message, shoot me some. I'm always down for the love. Even debate, conversation, perspective, ideas. I'm down for everything. I love to converse. A lot of time, I believe most people, and I can't say most people, I don't even know 1% of the 1% of the 1% that I've spoken to. So what I'm saying is, I think, just like all of my ideas, they are me projecting my ideas and consciousness on the possibilities based on my surroundings and how I feel. This is why in the intro, I say, I can see me in you. Because the way I break it down, it seems that a lot of people can relate. I think it's the same thing comedians do, but make it more funny. I try to be a little funny, but I try to get the point across. That's the big thing for me. That's why my podcast is different. But the thing I was getting to before I digress, because y'all know I will, the thing I was trying to say was, I think a lot of time people just want to have somebody to talk to. You want to have somebody you can feel comfortable being yourself with. And I think that's the big thing that a lot of us crave. But how I tell you guys, fear, it's always the choice you have. It's always part of the option. No matter what you choose, your options are always fear or faith. Whichever one you choose, fear or faith. In everything you do, fear or faith. Whether you win or lose. See, I'll break out and start rapping. Don't look. I know I be saying my little poems and stuff, but I spit. I look, facial expressions, everything. But anyway, but those are your choices, fear or faith. And a lot of time, I believe people get hurt and then they choose fear because the fear is basically to be themselves. Maybe they were rejected by a parent. I have an experience where I may tell it. She may not even listen to the episode, but she may see it. I have a cousin that said something to me. I'll tell you guys about it. But you may have been rejected at some point in your life and it stuck with you. It hurt so bad that you developed a fear from it. You're so scared that it may happen again that you try to protect yourself. How could I say this? You try to preemptively protect yourself. And this is what I used to tell people, and I still say it, but I believe that when you're defending yourself, when you're not being attacked, you're the one attacking. And I know it can sound a little crazy, but maybe you picked up the point immediately when I said it. So what I'm saying is you got so hurt that your reaction to it was to defend yourself. But when you think you're defending yourself, a lot of time it's fear fooling you to think that is you. It's fear fooling you to think that you're being strong in the moment when you're not. And the tough part is, I think that when people go through things and they internalize it, people don't feel comfortable being themselves. They're afraid to be themselves because of some rejection or something that happened, something that made them feel that who they are isn't good enough and or won't be accepted. And that shit is scary, that you can't be accepted as yourself. So that's why I think that a lot of time when I talk to people, the reason I can relate to them, because I got a lot of different pain, a lot of things I've been through, but the way I take it, the way I perceive it, I don't take it as just the pain from it. Because as I tell people, I think pain is just a lack of understanding. Whichever way you get that pain is just a lack of understanding, in my belief. So if I don't understand why this affected me this deeply, how could I ever get past the pain? And a lot of times when you remove the pain from a situation, the fear dissipates. Because a lot of times you have fear of the pain. So if a bully come up and he's about to punch you and you just, oh no, take my money, take whatever you want. But imagine if that same bully wasn't just in the third dimension. Imagine if you had that same bully consciously inside of yourself. And that's what I would call fear. So if something you're scared to be like yourself, I'll come in and tell you that the first question is always why? Why are you afraid to be yourself? Because I feel that the reason I call myself like Rafiki from The Lion King, I'm Oz from The Wizard of Oz. I'm not greater than you. I'm not better than you. I'm just saying that you may need that little nudge. You may need somebody to come and talk to you in a place or have you ask a question in a place you never asked one to help yourself be strong, to help yourself get that motivation. Because it's tough as fuck trying to get up every day, let alone you got fear to deal with that you haven't addressed. Because if you remove that fear of the pain, where the pain could have been you or yourself one day acting silly and someone said, ugh, why you acting like that? You acting stupid as fuck. Similar to what my cousin told me when I was young. I was being my natural silly self and I was being goofy. This is what I developed when I was crazy. Because I told you I was so violent. I was so violent. So what happened was I was being the silly self. That's what I developed, what people would call the class clown, but I label as a OG disruptor. That's what I am. So that was what I developed for people wouldn't just be scared of me. When you're that violent, you know you're not natural with everybody else, right? You know your interaction with other people becomes crazy. But to me, I was just defending myself. I was bullied and I feared being bullied so much that I created a version of myself. I became and embodied a version of myself that would never get bullied again. And then in turns, I became the bully. So it's the same thing when I'm trying to get you to see. But I'm trying to give it to you in a way to go down a journey with you, to find whatever that fear is, face it, figure out why, understand it, and remove the pain from it. Because the way I look at it, like I told you, I think pain is a lack of understanding. So if you understand why something affected you so much, then you go and you find out, how do you feel about it? How can you handle it? How do you plan to deal with it? Now you know it, you understand it. I don't think it'll hurt that much. And now if you're scared to be yourself, why? Why should someone else's opinion of you affect you so deeply that you walk around and become something other than yourself? Because besides helping yourself, I believe it can stop you from doing what I did and becoming the bully that you were so afraid of. So basically, if someone's not attacking you, but you're so afraid that they will, you start defending yourself which inevitably comes off to them as you attacking. So when it looks like you're attacking, you get an affirmation that being yourself is a problem. When you're not being yourself, you're just hurt, you're wounded, and you're lashing out trying to defend yourself. And then you may get mad at somebody else and go, why you not there when I need you? But you don't know their perception. You're lashing out to them. You're attacking because they are not. This is where communication comes in. And this is where I would come in. And this is what I'm trying to do on this show also. So basically, I became the person that people would want to talk to, which turned into understanding that how much I wished. I wish so much I had somebody to talk to that I can just trust that if I said this to them, I know it would only be with them. To talk to somebody and feel like they genuinely care whether, I'm hurt or if something happened to me. And to feel comfortable enough being yourself, your true self. And this is what I want to talk about today. Because I think a lot of people, they just want to feel comfortable. And that's tough to do when you've been hurt. And I get it. But I feel like if you understand it, you may get enough confidence in that place that you were scared that you can be yourself. And today's episode, this will be, do you fear intimacy? That's today's episode. That's the question on the table. That's the question that there's power in. This is what I mean when I say there's power in the question. You can ask yourself a question in a place you never asked the question before. Then when you ask the question, now we need to work, find that answer. Because the question exists, everything has a reflection to exist. So if the question exists, so does the answer. Just got to find it. Now, what's your next question? How? How do we deal with this? Can't do any of that without asking. And so I'm starting to ask for the conscious collective. Let me take these headphones off. I asked this question and I'm going to try to get my answer in the beginning. So do people fear intimacy, or do you fear intimacy? Or for me directly, does Q fear intimacy? I think it's a good question, but the way I look at things is going to change a little bit. I'm going to take off my do-rag. Hope I ain't got the line in my head. Generally speaking, I don't fear intimacy. But I feel like this is a regular question for people who haven't faced the pain inside themselves in a place, or haven't been real with themselves, or haven't been honest with themselves. Now, all this is based on my experiences. I'm not saying that I know the answer. No, I'm just posing a question. Maybe a question you haven't asked yourself. And if you have, what up? We both went through it. How you feel? I don't think people fear intimacy. In fact, I think we crave intimacy. I think people fear what also must be given to receive that intimacy, which is vulnerability. So I don't think people fear intimacy. I don't think you fear intimacy if you're watching this. I don't think I fear intimacy. I think I crave it. But the scariest shit in the world is being vulnerable when you've been vulnerable before and you got hurt. That shit get tough right there. But that's my answer in the beginning. That's me giving my answer to start it off. And then I'm going to try to go on a little dive and see if we can wrap this up and make this make some sense. What if when people break up, they try to overcorrect for that trait they lack? Because whatever thing that was so important that you left love for it, it takes on value to you. What if you overvalue that one thing simply because you didn't get it? Now you value it over love because you left love because you didn't get it. And what if you're so focused looking for that one trait or characteristic and miss all others? Because if we are gods, we are made up of more than just one trait or characteristic, which means that you are so hurt and believe that you're doing the right thing out of fear. But when is fear ever the best thing? Because you didn't have faith in yourself. As I tell you, you are God. Why wouldn't you have faith in yourself? Your books even tell you to have faith in God. I think the book is just a story of parables to tell you a beautiful story in ways to find yourself by getting to yourself. getting through all those layers of ignorance, lack of understanding, and fear to get to yourself, to have salvation, to actually be free. This is why I come in like a Rafiki type character. Like, hey, look at yourself. You the stuff. Trust me. No. Trust. Fuck what they talking about. Listen to me. Fuck what they saying. You the shit. Trust me. You the only you. You're $100 billion diamond. That's why I tell you are God. That doesn't mean you fully cooked. That don't mean you all capital letters. God. I'm not saying that at all. I'm saying that you're of it, which makes you something great. It's like if your parents were king and queen, why wouldn't you think that you should be there or greater than? When I tell you our God, when I tell you that whatever book or whatever religion you choose to believe in, I'm not saying you have to stop believing in it. You have the right to believe whatever you want to believe. What I'm saying is put that type of faith and belief in yourself first. That's it. Just put that faith that you're worthy enough to take that journey about. I want you to value yourself enough to see that in yourself and that it's a fact. And a dude that used to pee in the bed when he was a kid and got bullied can even tell you this. But anyway, I digress. Back to, do you fear intimacy? Because that's what this is about. And I already gave my answer in the beginning. If you are a God, why wouldn't you have faith in you? Because when you don't, that means you make a decision out of fear because fear convinced you it was right. Remember I told you guys earlier in the show or early in the season, I was telling you guys about when you think of fear and faith, think of it like fear and faith, they in the courtroom, and fear is the plaintiff and faith is the defendant. And what I'm telling you is, first, if you see it that way, switch them. But you are the judge. All the responsibility, all that falls on you. Yeah, there's always, they both present good cases, but you have to make a choice. The way I try to say it in my analogy is, so they both present their case. Fear, all fear uses is what happened in the past. Fear has a very strong case. It's built on logic. Fear's argument is always built on logic. Man, last time you did that, this happened. Then the other time you did that, that happened. And don't forget when this happened. Fear knows all of yesterday. Fear specializes. It's a lawyer of yesterday. Faith is a lawyer of you don't know. And right in that little moment, faith is saying, no matter what happened, how can what was ever determine what never been? So faith is saying, if all that bad stuff can happen, everything needs a reflection to exist. So wouldn't that mean that it's just as much likely something good can happen? And in that brief space and time before a thought becomes reality, you have all the power. Why not just believe that something good is going to happen as you try to make actions to make that come into fruition? Because faith is going to tell you, like, that doesn't make sense. You failed 50 times out of the last 50 times. So chances are, the odds tell you it's a tough decision. I'm not saying decisions are easy. That's why you have to decide. Side means to kill something and make way for. So when you decide, there's a lot of you a guy. You got responsibility. Don't look at me. I got to do this shit too. You got to do it. Fuck. No, we going to face it. Because we the conscious collective. We trying to raise that together. You feel me? So back to, do you feel intimacy? It's like a commercial. Back to our regularly scheduled program. Whenever I digress, that's a commercial. So you make a decision based on fear because fear convinced you it was right. And you were the judge the whole time. So your decision can be doomed from the start because you're not viewing them as them entirely. You're viewing them as that trait you lack. But what if when you see them for them, you finally get to see them for them? What if you don't like the other parts? Now you may get lucky. That's a blessing. Hey, shouts out to you. Shouts out to the team. You may get lucky. But if you don't, what do? Because if you was going through that much pain that you had this tunnel vision for that one trait or characteristic, and they have it, or they had it, that means they were there for you when you were drowning. And now you may break the person that saved you while you were drowning. You may cause them to drown and break their heart. And you may not intend to. You may look at it and say, I'm doing the best I can out of this fear decision I made. The fear is what caused me to see the one trait, because I was so scared, because I lacked it. It became so important to me because I yearned it, and you had it. But I had that tunnel vision, and that was all I could see. And now you see all the parts. Not because they did anything wrong, it's because you were hurt. Then you hurt them. That doesn't seem fair. Because how can you not care for somebody that cared for you when you yearned that care? And they gave it to you. And now you may break their heart. This is why I say a good thing to do is to face that fear. Deal with it so you don't have to be in that situation where you hurt somebody that you truly care about, but you made steps you weren't ready for because you were choosing and making choices out of fear because it convinced you it was right. It's nobody else's fault. You can't blame someone. They don't have power over your choices. But they hurt me. You were hurt. Yes, they hurt you. You still have to make a decision. What are you going to choose in that moment? Fear or faith? And I'm telling you, a God, why wouldn't you have faith in yourself? Because I know it can affect you. I'm not saying that you should always have total control over all your emotions. Shit, I go through shit. I think everybody does, but I don't know everybody. So maybe it's a bunch of people over there like, no, all of my shit is together. What's wrong with you? What I'm saying is, when you make decisions out of fear, you can end up hurting somebody because you're attacking, but thinking you're defending yourself. Because I think people love from their trauma and from their pain. So I think people may love by giving the love they wanted at a time or at times, but didn't get it. So they're basically projecting a type of love they never received to learn from. So to them, they may feel like they gave you something that they actually never did, because it's their only way of understanding it. So you could think you gave somebody love because you were giving it from a place where all of your decisions were made from fear. And that's how you can end up hurting somebody you really care about. Again, these are my guesses, and this is my guess on this topic or this question. Do you fear intimacy, or does Q feel intimacy, or do I think people fear intimacy? And my guess, based on my experiences and a lot of conversations I had with people, I don't think people fear intimacy. I actually think they crave it. I think people fear what also must be given to receive it. Vulnerability. So that is what I believe people fear. Men, women, both. They're always trying to fight each other. And it doesn't always have to be a versus between reflections. Probably why you're so scared to be vulnerable. So if you try to look at the thing that you're scared of, the reason that you lash out, the reason you show it physically, the reason you may show it verbally, you have to first take that knowledge of self, that journey of knowledge of self. And it is a journey. I just think it's worth it. Because as I tell you, you are a God. Why wouldn't it be worth it? If I give you a book and tell you this book is going to tell you about God, the only person that knows your book is you. Until you tell it, which I'm doing with my show here. You write it. A lot of times people don't think their story is that important. Maybe they're afraid to be themselves. Maybe it was some place where they got hurt and they're choosing fear every time when it comes to being themselves. Express yourself. I did it with this show. I'm not looking and going, 1 billion people going to love the show. It's people I tell to listen to the show. They probably don't like it. It'd probably be better if we were having a conversation.
So what's going on, y'all? Yeah, I'm coming back to the episode. I'm going to take these headphones off already. So I'm going to try to start this right.
So y'all may not know this. Y'all may tell. I tried to put on another black shirt, so when I put the video together, it can still seem like, kind of putting it together the same episode. But so the reason I'm speaking to you guys now, I had to finish the episode, so I stopped. I'm gonna try to pick up where I left off. So I took some notes. So I can basically try to pick up where I left off. So I know this is a more serious topic. I still want to have fun. I still love to have fun. The show is so multi-layered. I'm talking to you in so many different places. I'm making sure I'm coming to you with vulnerability, the thing that we're talking about that I think people actually fear instead of intimacy. But what can happen to you, and I know I told you guys I was going to tell y'all what happened, so I tell y'all. So I forgot how young I was, but this was during the time I was a little, quote unquote violent, whatever you want to call it. So during this time, I go visit my cousins. Now, I didn't come up with my family like that, so I don't have a real close connection with my family like that. It's mainly my cousin Donnie, who's my role model, and that's what I'm gonna do the next episode about. So I'm gonna try to have some fun with it because Donnie got some funny stories. So I'm gonna try to make sure I'm in high spirits when I do it, but it's a real thing. So I didn't come up with my family like that. Y'all already seen I burned down my grandma's house when I was 3, so it makes sense. And it's another story I'm gonna tell y'all. I was telling somebody else and I was like, oh fuck. We had a family fight and it's my fault and don't nobody know. And I'm gonna tell y'all about that too. So it looks like I use this show basically to snitch on myself. That's what it looks like. It's Storytime with Q turns into snitching on myself is what it. But anyway, so I go visit my cousin. I'm a little older, but I'm still young, and I'm probably like 12, something like that. So I'm still young, 12, 13, but I was very violent. This is me at peak fighting form. I was fighting a lot. I was an action figure. I used to. The guys on the block, the quote unquote gangbangers. So the guys on the block, they used to have boxing gloves and they used to take me to different places to go fight people because I was so violent. They was like, we can make some money off this little nigga. So they did. So during this time, I'm not going to say I was happy. I wasn't happy, but I finally had something that made me feel like I was somebody. And that was the fact that I can fight. So because I can fight and I can beat you in a fight, and I became so competitive that I beat you in a fight, that actually fed to what will become my arrogant self, which becomes QD, Quiet Demolisher, which actually is a version of myself that I rap, and I rap from an arrogant place. So that's what helped develop that. I go see my cousin. I think it was because I was going to, I forgot why I was over there, but it was just some event. I usually don't go to any events. I miss funerals, weddings, all that, because I didn't come up with y'all. You know what I'm saying? Like, I came up by myself. I had to struggle a lot of stuff by myself. But something inside of me still yearned and wished that I had that family-like connection. I still go through it to this day. So I forgot what the event was. I go over there. And I get there, I really didn't grow up with them, and I didn't come up with family. I came up as basically by myself. So I don't have those social cues, or I'm not that good socially as some may be that grew up with siblings and family members. So, but when I go over there, the only way I knew how to be was how I used to be before I went crazy, which was my silly self. I always wanted to make people laugh. I always wanted to bring people together. That was a big thing for me. And then Chris punched me in my mouth and then I changed. So, and it wasn't just Chris, it was a lot of stuff. If y'all listen to the show, y'all should know. And I still haven't told y'all half of the stuff that has happened. But anyway, so I go over there. I don't want my cousins them to be like, oh, look at Q, standoffish. Look at Q not saying anything, or they wouldn't call me Q. They'll call me my real name most likely. But because I didn't grow up with them, I really don't even know how they would even say my name. I don't even know what they call me. That's how serious it is where I didn't grow up with them. But I go over there and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna be my silly self. There we go. So I'm just trying to make everybody laugh. It seems like everybody's having a good time. Everybody's laughing. I feel amazing because everybody's laughing. We're having a good time. And I'm here with this thing that's called family. And I'm like, man, this is how I imagine it. because my ideas of family all came from TV. Or if I had a girlfriend at that time and they had, a close family, I would kind of impose myself while I'm calling my girlfriend mama, or their siblings are my siblings, and I take that shit to heart and I would treat them like that. And I'm over there having a good time. And this is crazy. It don't fuck with me now, but it messed with me. It messed with me a lot then. So I'm over there, we're having a good time, and my cousin walks in. So my cousin, she's older than me. Everybody's older than me. I'm the baby of the family. So I'm around the ages of all of my cousins and siblings. I'm around the ages of their children. That's how far removed I am from my family. So I get over there. She's older than me, and I'm having a good time. She just comes out of nowhere and was like, ew. She didn't say but she said something to start it off. So I'm starting it with ew. So let's say she was like, ew. She was like, girls don't like when boys act silly like that. And just walked away. I said, what the fuck? What'd I do to you? But it fucked with me. It really fucked with me. Because I'm like, that's crazy. You got to remember, this is me going through the thing where girls was already calling me ugly in school. And I'm going through this shit where my only, I guess, positive trait, the only positivity I'm getting from other kids, which is stupid, but the only positive response I'm getting from other kids is the fact that I can fight. So kids would look at me. Now I'm something. I'm not just dirty Quentin anymore. Now I'm the guy that can fight. So now it's Q. Man, here come Q. So now people want to be cool with you. Some girls would even talk to me because of my reputation of being violent would cause girls to want to talk to me, which are not, in my opinion, probably not the best girls to go for if they like you because you're being violent, especially in the area I grew up with. It'll get you, let's say, unalived real fast because it's a whole ordeal. But anyway, when she says it, it messed with me because to me, I was being myself. When I'm this silly in school, when I used to be this silly in school and trying to get everybody to laugh because I didn't want everybody to walk around and be like, oh, there go Q, and be scared of me. I just wanted to be everybody's friend coming up. And it wasn't until how people treated me that my response was to become something that you wouldn't treat me that way again. But because girls, I'm not going to hit a girl, i.e. girls still would do me dirty. Dudes, we'll have to talk about that real fast. So when she says it, she just walks away. It's like, girls don't like when boys act silly like that. And that stuck with me. For years after that, I would be, even around my own family, I would be standoffish. And then I noticed when I went into that new person I became, because one shit funny. My life wasn't laughable. Wasn't nothing going on where it was like, yeah, I should be making jokes all the time. No, I was going through some of the craziest shit in the world. I was going through some of the most pain in the world. And I did this to try to make other people feel good. But when she said it, it kind of made me feel like, damn, you mean to tell me even trying to make people feel good is a negative? I could still be dirty Quentin and girls still not gonna like me. You know you want girls when you're a little guy. What you care about? Girls? Getting you some little yummy? Trying to poke some little girl in the pool under the water? Trying to get you some juking or some juicing? Whatever age range you came up in. We used to juke on each other in the closet, girls. Like if you was cool enough. I got a few jukes, but that's neither here nor there. But yeah, that stuck with me. And that's what I mean when I say with intimacy. Because a lot of the time, I think we crave it, but it's some point where you got hurt. You got hurt at a place when you were just being yourself, and it stuck with you. So for me, I look at it, I don't think people fear intimacy. I think they fear the vulnerability it takes to receive that intimacy. And then the person that you want that intimacy from, or the person that wants to give you that intimacy, they're not responsible for your pain. It's not their fault, but I get how scary it is. I'm not saying it's an easy situation. I'm just saying I believe it's worth it. As I tell you guys, if you guys are here from season 1, I probably said it in season 2 because this is a strong belief I have.
As a God, your power doesn't impede on another God, or at least it shouldn't, because then that would be force. And if you got to force something, I don't think that's for you, in my opinion and in my belief. So you can't control whether someone's going to hurt you or not. You can't change that you were hurt. So it's two things out of the Holy Trinity we're stuck in that you have no power over. What has happened and what will happen. The only time and the only place that you have that power is today. Even in Hinduism, they tell you that tomorrow will never get here. It's a concept, which is a fact. You will never sit down one day and say, I'm in tomorrow, unless you lie. All you will have is today, which makes the song that Annie was singing so much worse when you think about it. But that's neither here nor there. So anyway, so that affected me and that hurt me at that time. And then me being myself going forward, I was very hesitant to be that version of myself, which was truly me. But the pain wrapped around myself, that anger, that bravado that I walked around with, that aggression that I walked around with, that lack of smiling that I would have, that's what I would show people. So I would think I was being strong in a place when I wasn't. I was just scared to be myself. That's it. So when and this is all my belief, as I tell you guys, these ideas and perspectives, these are all my ideas, all my beliefs and perspective based on the limited information I have. Because all the people I spoke to are not 1% of the 1% of the 1% of the people that are on this planet. We don't know a lot of things. But one thing that I have seen a pattern in is when I speak to people and some of these ideas, they connect to them. So when I come up to somebody and I say, do you fear intimacy? A lot of people tell me, yeah, I fear intimacy. And we have a conversation. You sure you don't just want to be comfortable being yourself? What are you so afraid of that may happen that you fear this intimacy? Why is it that when you get so close to somebody and you feel that vulnerability kicking in, that's when you usually, what they like to call self-sabotage? So in my opinion, and the way I see it is, if it's fear, similar to I told you guys last season in What is Addiction? It's the fear that you have to address. And as I told you guys, I believe fear is a lack of understanding. So maybe if you understand the fear, then you have the choice. Then you take back the power to be able to make your choice, to decide either fear or faith. Not easy, but at least you get to make the choice. And it's not just stuck there out of pattern. It's not just, you're not just choosing it out of habit. You take that power back and stop letting fear bully you. Because I don't think you really fear intimacy. I think you fear the vulnerability it takes. So in my opinion, if you fear the vulnerability, shouldn't you be more selective with the person you choose to be that vulnerable with? Or would you prefer to walk around and not have that power over yourself? You give in to fear. The choice is always yours. So I believe once you become aware or get that understanding of yourself, that's it. Because you can't make someone treat you well. You can't make someone not hurt you like you've been hurt before. You can't do that. Every single time you have to take that leap of faith, if you choose to. To get what you actually want is going to take something. And as I always tell people, wherever you open yourself up to someone, that's the same place you're vulnerable to be hurt. So I can give you an analogy. I used to tell this to people. I used to tell them, like, when you're trusting someone. I know I gave you guys one of my other trust analogies. I probably had like 13 analogies for every analogy I had, but that's neither here nor there. Think of it like this. You're standing on a cliff and you have somebody down there that's telling you, trust me, turn around and fall. Now the cliff ain't that high. Cliff like 5 feet.
You're not going to die if you fall from that cliff. You've probably fell off this cliff before. So you know the pain that comes with it. But someone's down there saying, trust me, I'll catch you. If you're going to have somebody down there that you trust, so if you're going to have somebody down there standing, shouldn't you be more selective on who you give that trust to? Because don't take your ass up there on that cliff. We're going to call the cliff relationship. That's the relationship cliff. So you on your relationship cliff, you stand on it. Somebody's down there. Come on, I'm with you. Let's connect. Trust fall. I got you. Why don't you have a stranger down there? Everybody's a stranger when you really think about it, but you didn't even ask questions. You didn't try to dive deep into a conversation, get to know someone. This is why I tell people communication is key, but understanding is the lock. What good is a key or a lock without each other? If somebody's going to be down there that says, I'm going to catch you on this trust fall, maybe you should be more selective on who you choose. And worst case scenario, they let you fall. That shit tough. You didn't die. They say what don't kill you make you stronger. I don't know if that's true. My knee still hurt. And I ain't hooped or played football for real in a long time. And my knee still hurt. And I don't think my knee is stronger. So I get where you're coming from. Shit's scary. Then look, trusting people. Oh my God. Being vulnerable. Vulnerable. Come on now. That's what a fear is. But that intimacy, to feel comfortable, I think we yearn it. I know I do. Do you yearn that intimacy? Is that the thing that you're looking for? I know that's what I look for. It's a tough decision to make, but that's what it is. So no. Oh, I know what I wanted to do. So since I was talking about rapping and I don't feel like this episode is going to be that long. So I have a poem. The poem is probably going to be about 4 minutes. I think you're going to like it, just to be honest. First off, y'all know I'm very, what they call it? Confident. That's what it is. I'm very confident in my poetry. But this song / poem, because I don't have the beat that I actually made it to, I don't own it. And my nephew haven't made the other beat. So Dre, get it together. But all my music is really from my heart. I don't really rap or do poetry about nonsense. I really bare my soul in my music. So this poem / song is called Decisions. Because I don't think that the trust in someone part is easy. But what's the best that can happen and the worst that can happen? The best thing that can happen, you have somebody that you can truly trust. The worst that can happen is that you get hurt again. But at least you spend less time with someone you couldn't trust, and it gives you more time to find somebody that you maybe could. So it's not easy, but it's worth it. But in any case, you got decisions to make. Sometimes I dread the notion of spilling out my emotions, especially off a potion that causes me to expose them. Divulging most of my inner thoughts often can be impulsive, exciting when they're enlightening, but frightening when they're repulsive. In the motion of hope and provoking wasn't destructive. I know it can be disruptive when content can get seductive. Reluctant to be a hypocrite, but trusting can be so intimate. Differences start diminishing, certain feelings get emphasis. See, it is through the penmanship how I convey my wonderment. Some of my more dumber shit, but not gonna get presumptuous. Now I'm wondering how we come from this. I'm struggling trying to come up with shit, but is this just a quick fix or something for my bucket list? Damn. I'm electing what to invest in, acquire my desire, but trying not to be selfish. I relish in the concept of our sex and dwell in, but the aspect of regret making me quell them. I'm hell-bent on not being a source of bitterness when you remembering me. Entering in your wilderness, lower stroking so vigorous, lightly choking and kissing breasts. Execution rigorous, leg trembling, temperaments, minutes in silence.
Body speaking illiterate. Please excuse the vivid expletives in my images of me simply sitting here picturing the specifics if we were actually getting it in. I'm still trying to be considerate while denying the suspiciousness of future feelings of indifference or misreflecting. Now you regretting that you did the shit. Is it my commitment unrealistic? My inquisitiveness that I'm currently imprisoning, envisioning blissful instances of your willingness I'm giving in, figuring forgiveness is better than permission is? Well, at least I hope so. Without experience, you won't know. You like it fast or the slow stroke, I combo. So these sheets ain't the only ones, so. Now my motion match the music. Yeah, I'm grooving, cruising with this tool in. That pool until you producing fluids like it's drooling. So soothing how it's oozing, seducing. How I scoop you while subduing your movements. Hitting it hard like I'm a Bruce if no bruises. Improving my execution, you lose it and start moving like you was electrocuted. Yeah, I'm talking long lasting orgasms. Feel me pulsating while I'm inside you. I grab as soon as one of those thighs move, cause there ain't no running even though you fucking tried to. Now you say you need a minute. I'm a gentleman, I give it. We begin passionately kissing, but I whisper, we not finished. You see, I really want to please you. Arms and legs wrapped around me as I squeeze you. A little light stroking just to tease you. And every word that you spoken, I believed you. I can't be everything you wanted, but I'm enjoying every moment. The situation bigger than me. Can a desire be strong enough to consider a need? Well, I'm guessing there's no stressing. Because yesterday is history. Tomorrow is a mystery. Today is a gift. That's why they call it the present. Enjoying every second with me, stretching and sexing while sexing. I be caressing all the inches of your flesh. Session come with directions. Yeah, I'm teaching lessons. I'm giving you what I'm blessed with. Be quiet, baby, no questions. Say you like it reckless and know I could get aggressive. Impressive how you accept it, but that's just cause you like it. Watery how your eyes you gag and you try to bite it, but that's something I invited. It get me all excited, but no matter what I want from you, it's nothing that I'm gonna do unless I know you comfortable. Unless I know you're comfortable. Baby, I hope you're comfortable. But don't let your past bully your present into becoming your future. Because what they call pure is tampered with. The cure can't answer it. You're lost in a world looking for answers that's answerless. We're about to have some fun, y'all. Look. Man, the show finna change, y'all. Spoon fed long enough, now it's game on. Flame on, Johnny Storm with his napalm. Stay calm, yeah, strong, but it ain't on. Excuse me? But there's power in the question. You'll see that the power's in your essence. Confuse me? But I found it impressive. I constantly responded and found a reflection. It's also reflective. Now tell me what is info. Disregard, you don't know what your info. Start saying you a god playing limbo. That shit I had you at odds with your kinfolk. You telling me it came from God cause I'm in rote. Forgive me, but it's hard to compress all his knowledge of self and astonishing in post. To invoke, I'm a god that's within quotes. I've been dope and my conscience a big hope. Accuse me if you think that I'm wrong when I speak with my balls, but this is his show.